Hey guys, today I have my March reading wrap up. March was my birthday month. I read 7 books. I read 3 physical books and 4 books on my Kindle. I didn't get around to any audiobooks this month. I actually need audiobook recommendations, so if you have any, because I do have 1 credit on Audible that I need to use, but I prefer to listen to audiobooks of books I've already read, purely because I listen to them in work and I can't fully concentrate. So if I listen to one of a book I've already read, do you get what I'm trying to say? Anyway, let's get straight into the wrap up. First, on my Kindle, I read The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I started this in February but finished it on the 1st of March. I gave The Teacher 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. It wasn't my favourite Frida book because my favourite is Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale, The Housemaid. Oh my god. I'm going to do a Frida McFadden ranking video over on my TikTok at some point. Not yet because I feel like I haven't read enough, but I will at some point. The Teacher follows 2 teachers who are actually husband and wife, and they work at the same school, but there is a girl who was involved in an incident involving a teacher the previous year, which got the teacher not fired, but he got forced to resign. And Eve, the main woman, the wife, the teacher, she is really wary of Addie. But her husband Nate kind of grows a fond relationship with Addie, and it goes from there. There is a major twist right at the end of this book that up until this point, and when I say the end, I literally mean like the last 2 pages. Up until this point, I was like, yeah, you know, I kind of understand what's going on, kind of guess what's going on. But those last 2 pages, I was like, Frida, you've done it again. Because she always does those twists that you do not expect. Like ever. Then I read The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. This was my Bemmy's book club pick for February. As true me fashion, I never finish a book club book in the month because it's just the way I am. I gave this 4.5 stars. Lynn Painter will never do wrong in my eyes. Ever. I think this is an adult romance. It's the first adult romance of hers I've read, I believe. So it's about a bartender called Hallie who works the bar for a man called Jack's sister's wedding, and they meet there, they have a one-night stand, and then they decide actually they're really good as friends, and they go onto dating apps and they help each other find the perfect date. And they've got like a little competition going on where whoever gets into a relationship, I think, first, or whoever falls in love first gets a big prize. So Jack gets this signed baseball and Hallie gets all of Jack's air miles so she can fly literally wherever she wants in the world. The banter in this book was literally on another level. I was laughing out loud at Jack mostly, constantly. Like, every page is hilarious. I just found this book so hilarious. These are actually now one of my favourite couples in a book, I think I'm going to say. I loved them so much. I really hope they do like another... Actually, I think this is a kind of standalone sequel to Mr. Wrong Number. And I'm going to take a really wild hazardous guess and say that Mr. Wrong Number is about Jack's sister. So, obviously I know how that one ends now, but if you haven't read this, you should. And then again on my Kindle, I read another Frida McFadden book. I read Never Lie. I gave this one 3 stars. This definitely wasn't my favourite Frida book at all. I think my least favourite Frida book is The Co-Worker, and I'd probably put this one just above that. It's about a psychiatrist who goes missing, and however many years later, I think 3 years later, a couple move into... Well, they don't move into her house. They go to visit her house to move into, and they arrange a site meeting with the estate agent, but she never arrives, and there's a horrible blizzard, so they're literally trapped in this house for like 3-4 days, a whole weekend I'm pretty sure, and things just start to go really weird. There's constantly noises, there's things that keep getting moved around, and there is some good twists in this book, I won't lie, but the setting of it was just so mundane. Like, it was just, I was bored reading this, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I didn't really care what happened when it happened. I just wasn't really as intrigued with this book as I have been with other Frida books. Not to say it wasn't good, I still gave it 3 stars, but there were twists, especially the twists at the end, that I thought, oh my, like, that's a good twist. Twists that I would have never seen coming. You know when you're kind of guessing throughout the book about what's going to happen, But it's that type of guessing where it's not like, oh, I'm gonna guess what's happened, and if it happens, I'm a detective, and if it doesn't, then damn it. It's that guessing where it's like, I'm guessing because I just want this book to be over with and I'd rather just know what happens. But I got it wrong. Every single guess I made was incorrect. There's also a really big obvious hint throughout the whole book to who the psychiatrist is talking to in one of her tapes, and it turns out, I'm not going to say anything actually because that is a big spoiler. You'll have to read it. Read it and then let me know. Then I read 11 Hours and 11 Scenes by Octavia Jensen. These are part of the 11 series, and I'm in the middle actually of the next book, which is 11 Dates. 11 Scenes I gave 3 stars. It was, actually to be honest, I'd probably put it down to a 2.5. It was okay. They're short books. I think it was like 60 pages, something like that. They're short books. 2 people at the same workplace. I think there's a boss and an employee, cannot remember their names, but they're stuck in an elevator for 11 hours on their own, and you can see where that goes because it's a very smutty book. But I did lose it a little bit just when he called her kitten constantly and she asked him to effing breed me. Effing breed me. And then that's a reoccurring theme in the next book, constantly saying the words breed me. Yeah, so I gave that one, I'm taking it down to 2.5 stars because the more I think about it, the more it's actually really ridiculous. And then 11 Scenes I gave 1 star. I've never hated a book more in my life. Do you want to know what I put as my Goodreads? It's my own fault really, I didn't read the descriptions of these books, but in my defence, like, there is no plot, and I think that was the point. Because it seems when I was reading Goodreads reviews that people were saying, like, yeah, it's got no plot. Octavia Jensen apparently did say this book is no plot. Like, no plot or smut. But sometimes I feel like there's a difference between smut and straight up PORN. I did put as my Goodreads review, did not expect to be reading porn on my lunch break at work. I hated this book, but am I going to read the next one? Yeah, I am. And I am reading the next one. Basically, this book is, they're now a couple outside of the elevator, but he's got like a sex dungeon. And these scenes that they're doing are different sexual things. So one of them is like voyeurism. Another one is BDSM. Like it's very intense stuff. And I was reading this at work on my lunch break and I was literally sat there like, I don't like this, I feel really uncomfortable. It made me feel uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. And it was the breeding, the constant use of the word breeding and him calling her kitten all the time. I hated this book. If you really like smutty, and I'm not saying dark romance because this is not a dark romance, it's just smut. If you're into that, if you're feeling like you need that in a certain point of the day, then yeah, check out 11 Scenes by Octavia Jensen. Otherwise, I would probably just skip it. Then I finished My Life with the Water Boys by Ali Novak. I read this because I really enjoyed the TV series on Netflix, but I only gave the book 3 stars. It was okay, it was just very choppy, I felt like, and very immature. I know it's a YA, but it was very immature and I wasn't really as interested reading the book as I was watching the series. That might be a mistake I made watching the series first, because I will say the series is 100% better. But at least I got to picture Cole whilst I was reading, so there are silver linings. My Life with the Water Boys is about a girl called Jackie who loses her whole family, her parents and her sister in a car accident. So I think she's her godmother, it's her mum's best friend who she hasn't seen since she was a baby, called Catherine, takes her in. Little does Jackie know when she arrives, Jackie has 11 children. Or it might actually be 12, 1 girl and 11 boys. She has 11, 12 kids and Jackie is like, this is my actual hell. She moves from, I think, Brooklyn in like a penthouse suite from where she grew up because her parents are really famous, to a farm with 12 or 11 children. She goes from boarding school to public school. She's really trying to work her way up because I think she wants to go to Yale or Columbia, somewhere like that. And basically this school is going to make her work extra hours, but it just ends as well. I know the series ended on like a cliffhanger. If you've seen the show, I know it ended on a cliffhanger, which opens for a season 2, but I assumed that this would have more to it, and it didn't. It ends on the same cliffhanger, and then there's just been no book released since, and this was released in 2019. So I thought, 2019 or 2014? I think 2014. And there's not been another book written since, so I'm guessing the series is going to have to take a turn without the book, unless Ali Novak decides to write another book. I'm not sure, but yeah, I gave it 3 stars. Series, better than the book. Book, okay, easy read. My favourite book of the month, I read Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Webber. This is the last book I completed this month, actually. I gave it 4.5 stars. I enjoyed this so much, and I am so excited to get into the next book, which is Twin Crowns. Cursed Crowns. I also already have Burning Crowns on pre-order. It's about 2 twin sisters. You have Rose and Ren. Ren knows that Rose is her sister, but Rose doesn't know who Ren is. She's never heard of Ren. They were separated at birth after their parents got killed, and Rose became princess and Ren got whisked away by a witch. A good witch. Rose is the heir to the throne, and it's going to be her coronation to become queen in literally like a matter of weeks. She's going to be ruling a kingdom where witches get banished, they get executed. It's not nice. And Ren lives with the witches. So Ren is a witch. So Ren plots with the rest of her witch community, because they are identical twins, to break into the palace, steal Rose, take Rose back to the witches and take her place on the throne, so that she can basically bring the witches back and the witches can live back in the kingdom. I'm explaining this so bad. It's a really good book. If you haven't read this, you really need to, because it was fantastic. I really enjoyed being in a new fantasy world. It had romance, it had adventure, so much adventure. It was really, really good, and I'm so excited to start the next book. I'm going to start the next book ASAP. I literally have been doing a reading vlog for Easter weekend, and I didn't want a reading vlog to be filled up with just this book, so that's why I didn't go straight into the Cursed Crowns afterwards, but I'm going to be reading it straight after Daisy Hates, which actually, this is the last book I finished, but I will talk about Daisy Hates a sec. So I am 70% through Daisy Hates, so I'm not going to include it in this month's wrap up, obviously, because I haven't finished it, but I will talk about it because I'm way far enough through to kind of talk about it. So Daisy Hates is in the same timeline as Magnolia Parks. It's the second book in the Magnolia Parks series. It runs along the same timeline as Magnolia Parks. I love Daisy. I think I actually like Daisy more than Magnolia. I'm not sure if I like this book as a whole more than Magnolia Parks yet. I've still got 30% to figure it out. Daisy is very different to Magnolia in the sense that Daisy lives in a crime family. Her brother is like the biggest crime lord in Britain, and he's Daisy's sole guardian, so she's obviously involved in it all as well, and it's just brilliant. It's toxic, not as toxic as Magnolia and BJ, I will say that. Christian is actually a sweetheart, I think. Is that bad to say? But she does have a lot of guys around her. Like Daisy, I need some tips from this girl, because she has got every guy falling at her feet, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, so Daisy Hates, I am 70% through. You'll have to wait for my April wrap up to see what I fully think about it, because I don't know yet. These were all the books I read in March. Let me know what books you want me to read in April. I've already done my TBR, but if there's any books you're like, Beth, you need to get to, let me know. And if there's any reading vlogs you want me to film, also let me know. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!